And happy weekend! Kamusta kayo dyan? Yun, no? Yun! Sabi ko nga kahapon, pag-usapan natin ng foreign policy, pag-usapan natin China, US, BBM, etc. Kaso ito na nga may update na dun sa kaso nila Ai. At yung isang Daryl Yap pa yan, yung mga yan, naku po talaga persona non grata talaga yung mga yan. Ha? So bago tayo pupunta sa medyo high level discussion, which is itong discussion ng foreign policy at saka yung mga iba't ibang perspectives, theories at saka yung mga terminologies. Obviously, this is not gonna be a crash course. No, we're gonna have more and more discussion about foreign policy as we move forward. Let me have my 3-in-1. Salamat again to our friends. 3-in-1 Starbucks, yeah. Okay, sa mga ano lang, since 3-in-1 hindi siya buong-buong kape, hindi tayo magto 2 hours, okay? Alam ko Saturday yan. Sorry guys, I have priorities. My classes ako I have 3-hour classes sa weekends, sa Saturdays. And mukhang I'll have more classes to handle, God willing, in different universities in the in the coming months. So, make the most out of our meta, okay? Don't take me for granted. Marami din ako mga obligations. I have a lot of students to take care of, and these are different universities, my graduate, undergraduate, etc. So my approaches will be different. So that's going to be very time consuming. But in the meantime, as much as I can, guys, I'm sharing the ideas here and looking forward to your comments and suggestions. Meron na tayo already questions regarding foreign policy. Yung isa nga dyan, si Nico Jeremias. No? Ang dami niyang mga comments. Dami niyang mga tanong. Ikaw na. Daming tanong eh. Okay. Wait lang Dito muna tayo kay Ai. Ayan na, pinagalitan na ng city council namin, si Ma'am. Ito, council ni Ma'am Joy. Ayan tuloy. Hindi daw pwede na basta-basta mag-type ka lang ng kung ano ng kabastusan ng kababalakan dyan. Dapat medyo may pananagutan. Kasi ang excuse ng mga yan, they were just doing art and, I don't know, spoof or satire, whatever. Pero guys naman, wag ganon, diba? Tapos kunyari ngayon, bigla, defend naman yung iba. Guys naman, wag naman natin, yan ang problema sa atin, nagiging trashy. Pati yung mga dating artista, or artista pa rin ba yung isa? Sobrang trashy, nagiging trashy vlogger ng lahat ng tao. Huwag naman sanang ganun, guys. Di ba? Medyo level up tayo. Kaya nga ginagawa natin tong meta para mag-level up naman yung antas ng diskusyon natin sa bansa. At ukol sa ating bansa. Of course, kasama din dyan. Kaya kailangan ulit, 3-in-1 yan. Yan. Okay. So, saan pala tayo? Ito. So, ewan ko na dyan. Kaya ako, nag-ay na ako dyan. Nakaka-aray. And then, eto pa. Matutulog na nga tayo. Biglang nakikita natin yung mga news dyan kung ano na. Tapos grabe tong Esquire. Napakagaling sa mga clickbait articles. Nakita niyo sa Esquire? Walang may research daw na kung nakita ko yung mahirap maging gwapo, okay? Pero ito talaga sabi niyo, mga ridiculously handsome daw, mas difficult ang buhay. Kaya, guys, alam ko na yan. Huwag nyo nga i-rub in. Masakit na nga eh. Ayan naman tayo eh. Talaga, according to the study talaga, walang yan. Patulan ko nga itong Esquire study na to. Talagang, tapos yung itsura na nilagay, yung mukha pa ni Superman, na talagang yung, alam mo yung ngiting asar? Asar na asar yung ngiti eh. Eto. Grabe talaga yan, mga pogi problems. Alam mo, kung ako mapikon ako one day, siguro magsulat na lang ako ng libro ng mga ganun, mga libro ng... Hindi, meron ganun, di ba? Yung si Bautista ba, yung professor sa UP na comedian sa amin nila Lord de Verme. So parang mahirap maging pogi. Pero of course, yung sa kanya, satire. Medyo baka autobiog. Ito na tayo. Umayos ka na, Richard. Weekend na, umayos tayo. Parang, hindi ko talaga nakayanan eh. Yung sa Esquire talaga eh, walang iya eh. Sige, wag ko na. Hindi ko na. Kasi ito nakita ko, ito yung original sa Esquire America. Ito yung nakita kong original sa Esquire America. Ito yung original guys na nakita ko. Nakikita nyo? Ang title, tapos si Don Draper pa nandun. Ay, Lodi yan, Lodi yan. Kaya napansin niyo iba, mahilig ako dati sa mga coat and tie and three-piece suit. Well, still mahilig ako. One reason is dahil dito sa show na ito itong Mad Men, itong advertiser guys, walang ya. Ito na, do handsome men actually have harder life? So, yun yung title sa Esquire US. Pero yung Esquire Philippines, walang ya, ginawang ridiculously handsome men have hard life according to a study. Talagang ginawa pa siyang scientific. Kaya talagang, dito talaga tayo matutulog, magbabalahura na naman tayo. Tapos sinend ko pa doon sa mga ibang kaibigan natin, sabi nga ng po yung isa, hindi ko sasabihin sin yan, medyo sikat yan, sabi niya. Oo nga bro, gawa siguro kailangan ng gawin ng Pogi Anonymous. Tapos sabi ko, sige nga, sinong moderator? Si Sal Penelo daw. Okay na. Ito, di na ako magsalita. Si Sir Panelo sa fashion, Panelo eh. Panelo or Panalo? Ayan, okay. Okay. Kamusta na? Thank you mga kameta. Alam ko, ayan na, good evening dyan. Yung mga mites sa Australia, I know you guys are focused and concentrated on your weekend party. Wala na natin yung mga mites ko from Australia. Ito yung mga, alam mo yung love ko sa mga Australians? They're so chill. They're super chill. Kaya pag nasa Australia ako, bored ako doon in a sense na parang nadidepress ako. Parang sa Pilipinas, ang daming problema. You don't know where to start. Kaya maghanap ka ng mga ai stories, ganun. Doon sa Australia, walang traffic, walang pollution, walang mabait lahat. Tapos lahat ang ganda, gwapo, maganda, lahat. Parang no challenge eh. No challenge eh. Kaya dating sa Pilipinas, airport pa lang, ang daming problema. 2 oras ka sa airport, magka-clear ka lang ng isang papel, tapos traffic, 2 oras na naman. Wala pang 2 hours, back to reality ka na, iba na. So anyway, today, ito ang pangako sa inyo guys, bago tayo pumunta sa Panelo or gawa ka ng fashions, Panelo or Panalo, yung mga ganun. Okay, Pogi Anonymous. Sabi nga ng kaibigan natin dyan, dami naman magagalit sa akin. Ang sakit sa biceps kasi yung mga ganyang kwento, guys. Pag mga ganyan nakikita ko, sakit ng biceps ko. Parang ganun ang feel mo eh. Hindi masakit sa bangs, masakit sa biceps yung mga ganun. Alright, seryoso na tayo. Okay, ito. Guys, let's go serious. Okay, so obviously napansin nyo over the past 2-3 days, purong pinag-usapan natin dito foreign policy, foreign affairs. Dahil nga, finally, ito yung mga cabinet ni Marcos on security and defense policies is coming together, di ba? So, medyo, paano yan? Parang gusto ko in future, guys, hybrid version, no? Parang gawa tayo ng concert, tapos may ticket. Tapos meron mga live audience, tapos meron meta audience, tapos meron YouTube audience, gano'n. Gano'n naman gawin natin. Ang tawag ko dyan, hybrid meta. Yun, no? So may mga live audience, tapos meron nang nakatayo dito. Pag may sinabi ako nakakatawa, tapos hindi nakakatawa, magtaas siya ng clap sign. Palakpakan kayo. Tapos, gano'n. Tapos, alam mo yung gano'n? Meron akong sidekick dito. Magtataas siya, tapos palakpakan yung audience. Gano'n. Alright. Okay. Mamaya na tayo dyan, mga Kazadi. The Zadi Show. Actually nga, iniisip ko guys, i-upload na natin itong mga meta natin. Hindi lang sa ating mga platforms dito. Sabi ko nga, lagay ko rin ito sa Spotify ko, etc. Pero hindi ko alam anong maging title eh. Kasi di ba parang may Joe Rogan Experience. Yung YouTube ko, alam niyo sa mga YouTube friends natin, YouTube ko is Richard Haydarian Vlogs. Di ba? Feel na vlogger. Pero, pag Spotify kaya? Richard Haydarian Metas? Parang hindi eh, di ba? Parang Meta with Haydarian? Di rin. Parang Mark Zuckerberg ang may-ari ng Spotify ko. Di ba? Parang hindi eh. Baka makasuhan pa tayo ng copyright. Or ayan na with Haydarian. Hindi rin eh. Baka parang show, parang wawawin na ang dating eh. Hindi ko alam. Please guys, send me ideas about anong pwede natin maging title dyan. Kasi I'm thinking I'll upload na yung mga ideas natin sa Spotify. Kasi alam ko yung ibang kaibigan natin, ginagawa tayong podcast. Alright? Meron na akong podcast pero joint yun with my friend si Mark Gamboa, and thank you very much for watching us live. Pero I'm thinking of doing my own individual podcast, etc. Stress na naman yan masakit sa bangs sa biceps na naman yan. But yun nga, I don't know which title I'll put. Richard Haydarian Meta, yung mga ganun. So I don't know. Let's see what we're gonna do. Kasi ang kagandahan ng podcast guys is you don't need that much. I mean, you don't need much of an internet, right? You can download it, you can watch it anywhere. Minsan madaldal tayo. Ha! Sabi ni Angela sa YouTube, Zaddy Talks. Walang yan. Baka makasuhan tayo dyan. Baka makasuhan tayo dyan. Baka ma-PG-18 na to pag Zaddy Talks. Parang hindi yata tama eh. Baka hindi na si seryoso yan. Ayan. Ito naman si Roy, sabi niya, hey, Darianisms. Ayan tayo eh. Ayan tayo, magiging ano na tayo. Gawa kayo ng kulto dyan, na walang yan. Yan. Hey, Darian Vlogs. Hindi, di ba YouTube ko ay Darian Vlog, di ba? Richard A. Darian Vlogs. So, yung parang yung version ka ng Joe Rogan Experience. At yung mga nagpo-follow sa akin sa YouTube, don't be surprised, once in a while, may upload ako na PewDiePie style, yung mga FIFA games. May na-upload na ako sa Champions League. Guess what? Before Champions League, nalaro ko yung Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Legendary mode, nanalo pa ako. Guess what? Nanalo din ng Real Madrid. So ito, mag-upload na ako yung mga ganun. Kaya nga parang it's not just politics, economics, serious stuff, not just Andrew E, Robin P. Hindi lang mga ganun, hindi Tatay Digong, BBM, Inday, Sarah, ganun. Gusto lang natin mga PewDiePie style, my games, etc. Yan. Zaddy Times. Zaddy Times. Walang yan talaga ito. Alam mo yung mga follower ko sa YouTube, mas malala pa yung mga yan. Ay, hindi actually. Mas mababait yung iba. Medyo wild ang YouTube eh. Ito sa meta natin dito sa Facebook, medyo parang mean. Parang median voter. Pero sa YouTube, wild eh. Ay, ayan. Ang suggestion ni Johnny Airplane, that looks like a very serious Hoy, Gerard Lee huwag kang mag-troll sa akin, balikan kita mamaya, umayos ka. Sabi ni naman, Fuego Vlog. Baka makasuhan tayo sa Mexico niyan. I'm sure meron din silang Fuego Vlog. Okay, tama na. That's it. I was just asking, mag-crowdsource tayo ng anong title natin, gawa tayo ng podcast natin eh. Hindi ako makapag-decide eh. Too serious, it's boring. Too hindi serious and goofy, hindi na tayo siseryosohin. So, at the same time, I have to have my own brand, right? Meron na tayong brand dito, guys. So, I want to make sure I also have my own brand, alright? Yung mga trolls ko sa YouTube, umayos kayo dyan. Buti pa yung mga nandito sa Facebook and others, umayos. Medyo mabait na sila. Kaya, ayan okay ito. Yeah, para siguro yun na lang, no? Sabi ni Marlene Waters, hey with Hey Darian Pot. Parang daming hey eh. Parang daming hey. Alam mo tawag sa akin, Mr. Hey, si Professor Miranda, siya yung founder ng Pulse Asia, tsaka co-founder ng Establish. Ang tawag niya sa akin, Mr. Hey. Hanggang ngayon, walang yan. Ay, hindi siya. I mean, ako. Anyway, okay. Balikan natin isa pang former prof ko, si Ma'am Clarita Carlos. As I told you, we used to be very close. Not really close. Like, she was like one of my mentors, at least dun sa Pulse department. Of course, my super mentor was Walden Bellio. No question about it. I'm super indebted to him. A lot of my zaddiness, I'm really indebted to my mentors. Pero in fairness kay Ma'am Carlos, we were very close dun sa grad school, especially nung sa UP, Pulse Department, etc. But of course, nagkaroon kami ng disagreements over the whole revisionism, Marcos, and all. But my best wishes to her. Nonetheless, so over the past few days, pinag-usapan natin yung likely direction ng foreign policy natin pagdating sa Marcos administration. Now, let me start first with Russia before I go to China and US, which is more complicated. Kahapon, we slightly talked about US and the fact that mukhang Bongbong Marcos is preparing for a visit to the White House, the first in almost a decade or more kung next year pa to. And I think that will be very, very important and send a very strong signal to the world that the United States remains a strong ally of the Philippines. And the Philippines is not gonna pull off another Tatay style. After 6 years of Tatay Digong, maybe there'll be a much more balanced relationship, right? Nakikita ko yung mga yung mga suggestion niyo diyan, mga friends natin diyan on mga Kameta podcast. Okay. So, let me first start with Russia and Ukraine. As you know, guys, as you remember, nasa Europe tayo ng almost 1 month, no? More than 3 weeks nung March, February dahil nga syempre nag-attend tayo ng Munich Security Conference and then umikot tayo sa Europe. Of course, I didn't go to Ukraine, but I had to do some consultations in Berlin, after Munich, and then Paris, then dropped by family in España, then I was in Barcelona, etc. Medyo nag-tourism ng konti, but mostly it was really serious stuff. And nakita na stress din ako noon. you could see, and then yung time zone natin, ang pangit ng time zone ng Europe kung Philippines ang work reference mo. Di ba? Yung tipong 8 a.m. dyan, parang 2 a.m. doon, 1 a.m. doon, sobrang pangit kayo ng oras nun, grabe. Hirap na hirap nga ako nun. Tapos grabe, mas grabe pa yung iBags. I know it's bad, but it was even worse back then in, hindi, pangit ako dito, pero dito mas okay. Okay, anyway. So, and this is, so let me go back again to this, kasi, that is also where this whole issue of neutrality came up, no? Itong neutrality na kailangan natin maging neutral sa giyera na yan, huwag tayong makialam, etc. And remember, this issue of neutrality and all, and this issue of Russia came up for the first time, I would say, in a serious, detailed way. Let's be fair, ha? Dun sa SMNI debate. So, I've said a lot already on the SMNI debate and all of that, alright? Okay, but, ito ay, summer space, umayos ka. Balik mo. Isa ka pa. Swerte ka, wala yung mga army ko dito. Bahala ka. Pwede ko ba i-transfer yung ganyan-ganyan? Interface style, okay. Alright, yeah, so, actually, when I was in Munich, one of the panels I attended was the panel by the Quad foreign ministers. So, Foreign Minister of India, Foreign Minister of Australia, so Jaishankar, Payne, and then Foreign Minister of Japan. Opening speech was by the Foreign Minister of France. And then, ako yung opening question also dun sa panel na yan, after the discussion and all. And tinanong ko actually, ano yung point of, take-off point ko was yung SMNI debate. Kung saan, si Ma'am Carlos was parang portraying the Quad in very negative way, na parang ito yung NATO of Asia, Asian NATO, sa parang almost ang dating. At yung conflict sa Russia and Ukraine, dapat neutral tayo. So I kind of transitioned from there and raised that issue. Napansin ko, iritang-irita yung ibang foreign minister doon. I'm not gonna say which one, but maybe you can guess. In fairness sa Indian foreign minister, si Jaishankar, who's the father of a friend of mine, Dhruva, who's in DC now. So Jaishankar, Foreign Minister Jaishankar, he was very clear. The External Affairs Secretary, something like that. So technically, hindi siya foreign minister in the... Anyway, version nila ng Secretary of State. Okay, so si Jaishankar, who I know was also former ambassador to China, so he knows a lot about China. I think his wife is Japanese, so he knows a lot about Asia, etc. He was very adamant and parang pissed off siya dun sa term ng Asian NATO. He said that's a very lazy analogy, right? And then, yung Japanese Foreign Minister na parang sinabi niya sa akin something like, what happens in Russia and Ukraine is a matter of global security. So we cannot treat it as something just far away, etc. Yung Australian Defense Minister parang nagmukmuk lang siya. Anyway, hindi na siya iba na ngayon. So medyo friends natin yung mga bagong government ngayon. Mamaya na ako magsalita. Penny Wong. Lodian. Australia, man. The best niyan. Okay. Yung bago nila foreign minister. Actually, they have 2 cabinet members in Australia who speak Bahasa. And then they have 2 Muslim practicing cabinet ministers in the new government in Australia. Napaka-diverse and love na love ko tong bagong administration nila kumpara dun sa dati. But anyway, but my point is this, the SMNI debate spent more than an hour on this whole Quad and foreign policy, etc. issue, which was for me, in fairness, a breath of fresh air, right? Despite all of the things I've said about SMNI and mga iba parang nag-apply talaga for job, etc. In fairness, it touched on these issues. And nakita natin si Ma'am Carlos really pressured them on that. So now that she's the National Security Advisor, meron na siyang points of views na in-express. But let me be very clear about it. The National Security Advisor does not have the final say on our foreign and defense policy. That is why meron kang Department of National Defense Secretary and meron kang Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary. Not to mention, ang ating presidente po ay ang architect ng ating foreign policy. So we have to be also very clear that what the National Security Advisor says is not necessarily the final policy or the final word as far as our defense and foreign affairs are concerned. Nonetheless, Ma'am Carlos, who's very active in giving interviews right and left and saying stuff, "Oy, Edward Tan, umayos ka, paligang kita. Huwag kang mag-ano dyan. Grow a beard first, then talk to big boys like me, okay?" Okay. Little boy ka lang, umayos ka. Alright. Balikan natin to. Okay. So, Sorry guys, I like trolling trolls. I'll be honest about it. It gives me energy. You know what I'm saying? Trolling trolls is good. It's fun. I like it. I like pouncing on hyenas once in a while. Put them in the right place. You know, you have to show you're the lion once in a while, alright? Lalo tong mga little boys na to, ah. Dude, 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 okay? Umayos ka. Oh, ayoko naman sa'yo. Okay, anyway. So first of all, we have to put in context. The National Security Advisor doesn't have the final say. But nonetheless, what the National Security Advisor says matters to a certain degree, especially if malapit siya sa presidente, which is clearly the case with Ma'am Carlos and Marcos, right? And noon pa lang, medyo chummy na sila. And obvious na chummy-chums dun sa SMNI debate and all of that. So she will be, I think, probably more influential na national security advisor probably than the previous ones. And we mentioned we had many previous ones. I think probably she will be the most influential national security advisor since Almonte, or siguro since the time of what's the time? What's the time of Ramos? All right. Okay. Balikan natin yan. Balikan kita yung troll na little boy, ah. You know what I mean, okay? Okay, balikan natin to. Now, ito yung sinabi ni Ma'am Carlos dito, ah. Okay. Ito yung sinabi ni Ma'am Carlos. So as National Security Advisor, ito yung sinabi niya. Doon sa laging handa public briefing, she noted that the country's very good relationship with Russia in the past. Siguro we will take a neutral stance, yun naman talagang ginawa natin from the beginning, and we have a very good past relationship with Russia. Okay, right off the bat, I have some disagreements with these statements, factually speaking. First of all, we are not technically actually neutral on the conflict. If I don't know about Ma'am Carlos, but anyone who has bothered to actually follow the Philippines voting pattern, I am happy to say, yes, I'm proud to say that the Philippines has had principled voting pattern in the United Nations on this conflict. Now, just to be clear and just to be transparent, I have had historically pushed for strong relationship between ASEAN and Russia, not only Philippines and Russia, because I believe that Russia could be a good balance, a third force in the region. We have no direct territorial disputes with Russia, and Russia can provide us cheap but good armaments. Russia can provide us oil and gas, and you know, I love Russian literature and arts. I mean, I'll just be honest about it. I'll just be honest. Hindi ako nagsisinungaling. And I'll be honest, I was supposed to go to actually Moscow this year actually, before nangyari yung giyera. Of course, nung nangyari yung giyera, everything is off the table, right? So, but personally, I have historically supported that, and you could just type Hey Darian and Russia and stuff, you'll see my stance. So hindi ako magsisinungaling. But let me be very clear about that. Once the conflict started, in fairness to the Department of Foreign Affairs, in fairness to Teddy Boy Locsin, even if he has blocked me on Twitter, etc., our voting is this. We are the only ASEAN country, aside from the exiled Myanmar government in UN. Kasi ang Myanmar, di ba, nagkakudeta na. So yung representation na sa UN ay yung dating gobyerno, dating rehimen, hindi yung ngayon. So the military right now in Myanmar is super pro-Russia, super, as in like they support even the war. But yung mga natira from the remnants of the previous administration, previous regime of Aung San Suu Kyi, they vote against Russia. But I'm not sure that really counts because wala eh. I mean, wala na yung regime na yan, di ba? So, remnants na siya. So actually, Philippines is the only country in ASEAN that has consistently voted in favor of Ukraine in the United Nations. And for me, that's a principled vote. And it's possible. I mean, nakita niyo naman, di ba? Meron kaming webinar with President Zelensky the other month. I think we'll have another webinar with him, and I'll try to ask him directly, if not meet him directly, personally in coming months, etc. I will emphasize that as a Filipino, just to be clear, we're the only ASEAN country, aside from the exiled Myanmar government UN, that has voted in your favor consistently. So technically, we're not neutral. We already made it very clear that we oppose just the brazen invasion of another country on nonsensical pretext, right? As simple as that. So yun lang, as simple as that. At the same time, let me be very clear, guys. Lalo na sa mga kametan natin sa Russia, I love Russian culture and literature. I was supposed to be there. I have been pushing for ASEAN-Russia. That is why, for me, this conflict should end as soon as possible, in the best way possible, etc. para Russia can do what it was supposed to do. Kasi ang hirap ngayon eh. You see, Russia could have been really a great force here in Asia. I'll give you an example. Did you know that Russia is arming Vietnam against China? You see, Vietnam, if you look at their most advanced fighter jets, yung mga Sukhoi fighters nila and MiG fighters nila, you look at their submarines, they're all from Russia. They're all from Russia. And who do you think are the Vietnamese going to use those against? They're going to use that against China. In fact, the Chinese military uses a lot of Russian technology, but the Russian technology that Vietnamese military uses is even better than the Chinese one. And then ito pa guys. So recently, di ba, bumili tayo ng BrahMos, yung missile system. Eh, hindi naman siya hypersonic pa. Pero we can go to BrahMos, the next generation BrahMos, hypersonic na yan. So Mach 2 above na yan. Mach 4, Mach 5, yung Mach is the speed of sound, right? So 5-6 times the speed of sound na yung hypersonic missile. Ngayon, supersonic ang kinuha natin. Yung BrahMos po, Russian technology yan with some Indian on it. So technically, we bought it from India. But actually, it's derivative of Russian technology. So pati tayo nagbe-benefit actually sa Russian military technology in a way. And that will allow us to have some sort of deterrence capabilities dyan sa West Philippine Sea once we install those battery system dyan. So my point is, not to mention, Russia could have also helped us dun sa development ng Malampaya. Not Malampaya, yung mga ibang offshore resources natin sa Ritbang, etc. Because Russia has one of the best oil and gas industry technologies in the world. Not as advanced as US and some of the countries, but pretty decent. So if you go to Vietnam again, I'll give you another example. If you go to Vietnam, what they do is this. Kasi alam nila yung China, hindi nila awayan yung Russia. So I'll give you this. So ganito, di ba? May away ang Vietnam at China. Kasi nag-overlap yung kanilang claim sa sa South China Sea, di ba? Kasi wala, lampas na West Philippine Sea refers to our exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. So we're talking about other side of the South China Sea. Dahil may overlap sila, matalino talaga mga Vietnamese. Ano yung ginawa nila? Alam nila, pag humingi sila ng investment from the Europeo, yung mga iba sa kanila takot sa China kasi may interest din sila sa China. So, kunyari, Repsol ng Spain, some of their American companies, they pulled back eh. Kasi when they wanted to invest in Vietnamese blocks, yung energy blocks, nagalit yung China, tapos sabi na, wait lang, do I choose between Vietnam and China? Obviously, doon ako sa China, mas malaking market yan eh. Ayaw akong makipag-away dyan, di ba? Pero alam mo ginawa ng Vietnam? Mangutak talaga mga Vietnamese. They invited Indian state-affiliated oil and gas company, yung ONGC yata, and the Russian. So the Russians and Indians are helping Vietnam to develop their energy resources in the contested areas that are within their exclusive economic zone or continental shelf but are also claimed by China. And sabi ko, why not we can do the same? We invite the Russians to develop those resources dyan sa Ritbang, etc. Hindi sila galawin ng China kasi ang China kaibigan ng Russian eh. Pero yung Russia, dahil opportunistic sila, they will do it. So, and in fairness to Tatay Digong, during his second visit when he was in Russia, yung nagsalita siya sa Valday Club, tapos nagkalat siya, etc. So, overtime, pinagsabihan siya. But anyways, one of the things he pushed for was energy cooperation with Russia. And that's what I'm thinking. Kaya nga guys, nafa-frustrate ako dito dahil my heart bleeds for smaller countries being bullied and all. Any country, right? And in this case, I am not happy with what happened to Ukraine because my heart is with always the smaller party, the one that is being bullied. And please, don't give me this nonsense about NATO expansion, blah, blah, blah. Tuloy, naging meme yung NATO expansion. Di ba yung si Will Smith nung sinapak niya yung isa? Alam mo yung mga meme? Will Smith smacked, what's his name? Chris Rock because he was triggered by NATO expansion. Naging meme na yan eh. Galit ka sa buhay dahil yan sa NATO expansion. I'm not gonna even go to that history, right? By the way, there are other border countries of Russia who are NATO members. Go to the Baltic, and Finland, by the way, wants now to join NATO. So sobrang palpak yung ginawa ng Russia dyan. So for me, nakaka-frustrate yan kasi this war is hurting a smaller country. My heart goes to them. At the same time, it's hurting Russia's chance to be a force to help out countries in this part of the world against the other bully. You get what I'm saying here? Then, yan. So in short, my point is, you cannot say we were really neutral on this because we were going towards Russia and then now we're voting in favor of Ukraine. That's the fact. But let me tell you another thing, no? Ito po yung nagiging problema natin. Okay? So, hindi ako magbiglang... So, I always said Russia provides I won't say first rate, but like 1.5 rate military, or okay, let's call it this way. Russia provides second world military technology with third world price. That's how I put it. There's a joke also like San Miguel beer is like first world beer with third world price or something like that. All right, yun din ang joke namin. All right. So, oh, by the way, I don't do beer or anything like that. This is just a joke we made with friends. So going back to this, so in fairness, we have been trying to explore buying armaments and all from Russia. Parang Russia pa lang, isang buong meta na yan, ha? But seriously, this is big issue, guys. And you can see I've been involved in this. I've been pushing for this. Pinag-aralan ko talaga to. Nasa-stress talaga ako dito kasi sayang talaga eh. Sayang. And at the same time, I'm really angry at what's happening talaga to Ukraine. Tarang kawawa talaga yung mga Ukrainians. This shouldn't have happened. You don't just invade other countries with blah, blah, blah. But anyways, going back to that, ito pong problema natin, guys. Kasi bumili na tayo ng choppers sa Russia. We were hoping to also buy from Russia submarines, etc. Si Secretary Lorenzana, pumunta siya sa Russia. There were a number of meetings with them, etc. I know all of this, okay? This is big. I know what's going on, right? Ang problema ngayon, pwede tayo tamaan ng secondary sanctions. Kaya again, I disagree with my former professors na we can just be neutral about this because the problem is this. We're a U.S. treaty ally. The U.S. has sanctions against Russia, including their economy, but definitely their defense industry. So, yung mga binibili natin ng mga armas sa Russia ay pwede tamaan ng sanctions ng Amerika. Yun po ang nagiging problema natin. Lalong-lalo na kung bumili tayo ng mas malalaking at mas magagandang armas. Now, I'll be honest, I have Su-57 copies here. Yung makikita niyo stealth fighter na kalaban sa Top Gun, Su-57 yan. I'm sorry, I'm a geek in this stuff. Like, I love, or you can say I'm a geek. But when it comes to this, I love this military technology, yung mga latest technology. Like, I have a copy of Su-57 here. Yeah, wala, hindi na natin makukuha yung mga yan kasi masasanction tayo ng US. At hindi na natin pwede naman i-ignore ang US dahil kumukuha rin din tayo sa US yung ibang armas and all. So what I'm saying here is that we cannot have neutrality in this situation. There'll be tough choices, hard choices. The best thing we can do is to find a calibrated approach. So I call it calibrated neutrality rather than toxic neutrality, right? Toxic neutrality means dun lang tayo sa malakas. Dun lang tayo kung saan makakuha tayo ng mas maraming pera or armas. That's toxic neutrality. Or wala tayong pake dyan kasi ayaw natin mawala ng ganyan-ganyan. Yung takot ka, yung wala kang ano, di ba? Cojones. For me, I'm for calibrated neutrality. And I think it's very important na kausapin din natin ang Amerika na wag i-sanction yung mga binili na natin before yung giyera para hindi na sila maapektuhan. And to give you an idea, guys, India, which is not a treaty ally but a big partner of US because kasama sila sa quadrilateral security dialogue, India is one of the biggest importers of Russian armaments. And they're about to buy S-400. So let me give you some background about this. So guys, sorry, this is so defense and foreign policy. But to be honest, ito talagang aking bread and butter, okay? Yung political analysis, yung mga vlogger, ganun, ano yan. This is really secondary. My primary specialization is really defense and foreign affairs, okay? Now, hindi ako nagtrabaho sa Tatay administration and all, but I just wrote a couple of books and a couple of high-impact journal or whatever. Okay, let's not go there. And just 1,000 or 2 articles. Okay, now getting back to this. Yan na naman tayo, vlogger na naman tayo. That's why I'm not, that's why I'm controversial. Kasi medyo. Okay, going back. Saan tayo? Ito kasi guys, ano yung S-400? So S-400, ito yung surface-to-air missile systems. Ito yung mga missile batteries na ginagamit ng mga bansa to shoot down kung may mga incoming na aeroplano na gusto bumomba sa mga, I don't know, nuclear sites mo. So, S-400 is the latest one, latest system. So, let me show you how it looks like an S-400 for you to have an idea. Kasi ito yung binibili ng India. Ang problema, pwede sila masanction ng US, but US wants to be friends with India, so ang laki ng problema nila ngayon. Hindi ko pa pinasok pa, by the way guys, yung usapin, oil and gas. Because ang India, pinalaki pa niya yung import ng oil ng Russia. Because yung Russia, dahil sanction sila, desperado sila magbenta ng mga oil na sobrang mura. Siyempre, yung mga Indian, Chinese, alam mo naman, business-oriented. Sige lang, let's go, let's buy, di ba? Go lang tayo. But I'm not even gonna go there. Let me just show the S-400. So this is the S-400 missile battery system. So it's very advanced. It could shoot down even potentially not only F-16, F-15, probably it could even shoot down. I'll send you guys sa baba the link. It can also shoot down potentially um, stealth fighters, maybe F-22 if not F-35. So napakamahalaga itong S-400 technology, and India wants to have that because Pakistan po, which is an ally of China, but not a treaty ally. But komplikadong Pakistan kasi ang Pakistan used to be close to US, pero nag-away sila because of Taliban, all of this crazy terrorism issue. So now they're closer again to China. So kalaban ng India yung Pakistan, at ang concern ng India is that Pakistan is getting advanced fighter jets and all with India. They're developing also some joint fighter jet programs. China, by the way, was two fifth generation stealth fighters program. So concern ng India is we need S-400 to shoot down if ever Pakistan uses those advanced airplanes, etc. So yan ang binibili nila. Now, ito ang problema, guys. So I'll bring another country in. So mga friends natin dyan sa Turkey. So Turkey, as you know, it's a Muslim majority country but a secular government, at least on the surface, although Erdogan has his own ideas. And Turkey is a NATO member. It's actually a very important NATO member. It's the second largest member of NATO. And the history of Turkey's membership in NATO is also very interesting. After the Second World War, please, you can research it on your own. Turkey was not member of NATO after Second World War. They wanted to be neutral. Because alam niyo yung NATO, di ba? Alam niyo yung Turkey, di ba? Kasi yung Turkey po, majority is in Asia but a small part is in Europe. And then they're there at the Bosporus, so they connect. So yung connection ng Black Sea, which is malapit sa Russia, Ukraine, and then Mediterranean sa Europe and all of that, dadaan yan sa Turkey. So sabi ng Turkey, we can have it all. We can have this, we can have that. We can have Europe, we can have Russia, we can have Asia, we can have... They wanted to have that. But you know what happened? Tinethreaten sila ng Soviet Union noon. In fact, there was a really legitimate threat that Stalin is Russia, and post-Stalin Russia, will militarily attack Turkey. At ang Turkey, may away sa Greece, which wanted to join NATO. So sabi ng Turkey, oh my goodness, anong mangyayari sa atin nito? Yung Russia, tinethreaten ako. Yung Greece na kalaban ko, baka mag-NATO. Anong gagawin ko? Eventually, Turkey joined NATO. Alright, so I'm just simplifying what happened with Turkey. So Turkey wanted to be neutral, actually. But they had no choice. Because once you join NATO, they have the collective security clause. What does it mean? Pag inattack mo yung isang NATO, buong NATO ang bubugbog sa'yo. Buong angkan ang bubugbog sa'yo. So Turkey went for NATO. And in fact, Turkey today is the second largest armed forces inside NATO. After, obviously, the United States. The Turkish military is bigger than all European militaries, right? No, in terms of sheer size. And Turkey, by the way, right now, don't underestimate Turkey. They have one of the most advanced unmanned vehicle, yung mga UAVs na gano'n, systems in the world. Yung ginagamit ng ng Ukraine laban sa Russia, yung mga tanks na sinisira, marami dyan, Turkish-made na drones, right? So, that's to give you just about history of Turkey. But obviously, Turkey is a complicated country. Mahal na mahal ko yung mga Turkish people. I mean, they're close to my heart, etc. And Turkey has been really struggling with identity issues like are we Asian or not? And Turkey tried to join EU. Pero maraming racist sa Europe, let's admit it. So multiple times nagpa-admit ng Turkey, parating may excuse, hindi kayo develop masyado, backward kayo. May time na dumating na ang Turkey ay mas mayaman pa dun sa mga ibang pumasok sa loob ng European Union. Katulad ng Bulgaria, Romania, yung mga ganun. Mas mahirap pa sila sa Turkey. Turkey ngayon, medyo mataas na siya Ayaw talaga sa kanila. And we know why. We know why, right? We know why Turkey will never be admitted inside the European Union. Let's just be honest about it, right? So because of that, yung mga more conservative forces sa loob ng Turkey, like Erdogan, who wants a much more religious-oriented approach to politics, became stronger. So ngayon, ang ginawa ni Erdogan is, nagsasarili na naman siya. So he's trying again to have it both ways. Member of NATO, but at the same time, they want to have good relationship with other powers, including China. They had joint military exercise with China, which became an issue. But a bigger problem is Turkey bought S-400 missile systems from Russia. Now, naging malaking krisis ito dahil yung mga missile system na yan ay may mga radar and intelligence gathering capacity. So ang concern ng NATO is that etong Turkey ay gumagamit ng NATO technology pag mag-adoption ng Russian technology, baka that will give the Russians some backdoor into gaining access to NATO-like technology. That became one big issue. And then later on, of course, nag-away-away pa yung Turkey and US over human rights issues. Democracy kasi si Erdogan, medyo Tatay style, di ba? Or actually, si Tatay ay more Erdogan style, to be honest about it. I call Tatay Digong once the Erdogan of Southeast Asia. But anyway, in terms of authoritarian populism, not in different cases. So anyway, you know what happened? US sanctioned Turkey. A NATO member was sanctioned. So the idea that Philippines and India can just get away with it, medyo hard yan. Because Turkey na nga na NATO member, sinasanction ng US. Hanggang ngayon malaking away yan eh. Hanggang ngayon malaking away. Kaya nga ngayon Turkey ay nagwawala. Alam mo yung ginagawa nila? They are vetoing the entry of Sweden and Finland into NATO. Because you cannot be a member of NATO if not all members are on board. So they're vetoing that, and that's good for Russia. So they're playing all these games now, the Turks. Kaya nga kung titignan mo actually, yung sinasabi na independent foreign policy ni Tatay Digong, if actually studied Turkey, or what Erdogan is doing, I'm not supporting what Erdogan is doing, but I think Erdogan is closer to what Tatay Digong wanted to do perhaps. But Erdogan can do it properly. I'm not sure about Tatay Digong. I don't think he did it well. And Erdogan had more time to do this. In short, we can do Turkey. You know, I don't support it, by the way, 100%. But if you want to play that game, Turkey is a good model, to be honest about it. Because at the end of the day, even if na-sanction on Turkey, Turkey is like I care because I have all these sources of military investment, etc. And ngayon, ang problema kasi ng Turkey, they have a lot of F-16 fighters, right? Not F-15. And ang problema, yung engine and all, galing sa US, maintenance and all, nagkaka-issue sila. So now, they're openly flirting with Russia that they'll get Su-57 fighters, or with China, they'll get advanced fighters. So yung Russia and China, they're going to Turkey and say, ito, bibigyan namin sa ayaw ng mga Amerikano. And then ginagamit ng Turkey is that, oh, you don't want to give me, I'm gonna go there. Oh, bahala ka. You see, they have leverage. So Turkey has a leverage. I'm not a fan of Erdogan's politics, domestic politics. I'll be very honest about it. But on foreign policy, interesting. Kaya nga tama yan eh. Tama yung sinasabi ni Grace eh. Dun sa solar system best president, hindi ko alam ba't andyan si Jinping Xi or Prime Minister Abe. Erdogan is an interesting guy to look at. Honestly, Erdogan is an interesting guy to look at. Again, I'm not a fan of him politically. I have disagreements with him. Sorry to our friends in Turkey. Although when I'm in Turkey, I'm very respectful, etc. But I see on foreign policy, some of the stuff that they're doing, I don't know. Maybe Marcos can learn a thing or two also from them. But nonetheless, yun nga yung point ko, guys. Yun ang magiging complication dito because bumibili tayo ng armas sa Russia. Anong gagawin natin ngayon? Alright? Okay, now guys, you see, this is really my primary profession because we can go all to the nitty-gritties of these issues, etc. So talagang pagdating dito, ito talagang first love ko, yung foreign affairs defense issues. At sabi ko nga, 6-7-year-old pa lang ako, my dad was asking me to listen to BBC, to news, Gulf War, all of those wars. Very young age, I was listening to them. So this is, kumbaga, nasa dugo na natin yan, di ba? So yun. So, kaya nga ngayon, etong problema sa Ukraine and Russia, ang dami ng mga complicating implications for the Philippines. Not to mention, guys, there's also the aspect of food security. Because Ukraine and Russia put together are responsible for like 20% of global calories. And Russia is one of the biggest producers, guys, of fertilizer in the world. And Russia is one of the biggest producers of oil and exporters of gas. So dahil sa mga sanctions and giyera and all of that, it has created a whole mess in the global supply chains on top of pre-existing mess in terms of supply chains because of China closing off, computer chips not going around, semiconductors not going around. So nagkumpol-kumpol na yan. Kaya ang gulo ng economy natin ngayon. So kaya nga guys, in foreign policy, dapat malawak yung pag-intindi mo ng sitwasyon so that you can see the secondary, tertiary implications of every act. May ripple effect yan eh. And there are so many interlocking elements. Parang Rubik's Cube yan eh. You move this has to move too. Otherwise, magganyan na yan. You get what I'm saying? It's very, very complicated. Alright, I thought I can go discuss all countries. But you can see Russia pa lang, it's a very complicated issue. That's why, no offense to my former professor, I think these statements are more semantics than really well thought of analysis of the situation. So what we really need in the Philippines is a proper analysis of all of these complicated factors. And if you are interested, I don't know kung na-upload na yan, guys. But we had a webinar with the UP Asian Center 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. I hope naka-upload yan. So I have a presentation on the Russia-Ukraine crisis and the global implications. Most of these issues I've discussed. But ang wala doon is the Turkey aspect. And Turkey is a country I'm very, very familiar with. I've been studying very carefully Turkey for quite some time for many, many reasons. And I think hindi appreciated in Turkey because Turkey is actually a very special, interesting country. Very special, interesting. Their politics, their foreign policy, and yeah, it's a very tricky situation there. But you know, as a Pinoy, studying Turkey helps me to understand many things. To understand populism, to understand role of religion in politics, to understand NATO politics, to understand geopolitics. Very, very interesting. And kasi ito Turkey is a neighbor to all is a neighbor to Europe, is a neighbor to Arab world, is a neighbor to Iran, is a neighbor to Russia and Ukraine via Black Sea. Grabe yung situation. And then, China, dahil sa Silk Road, gusto rin dumaan yung Silk Road nila from Central Asia, Iran, and then Turkey. So Turkey is very, very important. They're really at the crossroads. They're really at the crossroads. And Erdogan is kind of like his own, medyo pagka-Putin din siya, yung malaking, ganun strongman, populist, etc. So, that's why I had to give you this kind of background. And then sabi nga ni Faid, Aisha, meron din sila masarap na baklava. Yes. Hindi lang sila, masarap yung baklava across the region. Lebanon, Iran, Khaliji, Egyptian, etc. But anyway, so I hope you guys understand. When I make comments on foreign policy and geopolitics, it's not out of nowhere. It's after consideration of all of these layers that I discussed to you. The situation with the S-400, the choppers, the MiGs, the submarines, the NATO dynamics, how Turkey joined, what Turkey is doing, the Black Sea politics, the Mediterranean politics, and then ito pa yung naging problema. At some point, Turkey, both friends niya and kaaway niya yung Russia. You know where? In Syria. So in Syria, Russia is backing Assad. But Turkey is backing the enemy because it doesn't want the Kurds to get independence, because the Kurds, if they get independence in northern Syria, that has implication for Kurds in southern Turkey, and ang gulo niyan. And yet Turkey was able to manage all of the situation without risking total war, right, with any of the major powers. That is interesting to me, guys. That's very interesting to me. Some people call it neo-Ottomanism. Now, may sinabi si Pinoy Let's Play dyan sa comments about Ottoman. Yes, some people call it neo-Ottomanism and they call Erdogan the new sultan, right? Turkey obviously is not as powerful as it used to be, but I think it's a very interesting country that we have to look at. And as I said, if you want a kind of what you call, so now, obviously, wala na tayong time to discuss China, US, and all of that. Ubus na yung laway ka. I just had 3-hour class. So I hope this just gives you a flavor of how we approach foreign policy, etc. But, kaya nga sabi ko huwag kayong mapadala dun sa mga terminologies and semantics. Mababaw na analysis yan. What we need is really multi-layered analysis. And I'll tell you what, I've been dealing with think tanks and experts in all of these countries I mentioned. Hindi ako nakaupo lang dito. I'm in Europe, I'm in Turkey, I'm in Middle East, I'm in US, etc., Japan, etc. We talk to all of these people and we keep on touch with our expert friends, etc. Actually, I had a lecture in Turkey a few years ago on populism, comparative populism. They discussed Erdogan, I discussed Duterte, we look at the comparisons, etc. May trolls din sila doon. Some of my colleagues, friends doon sa Turkey were also trolled, etc. Grabe yun. So, we have many similarities and interesting stuff. So, to check out to our friends in Turkey or watching us, to our friends in Moscow, we have mga kameta sa Moscow. Kamusta naman kayo dyan? Send regards sa, okay. Some of my friends are now also in Ukraine and Kiev. Alright, there to show support. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about these things as if they're just nothing. My heart is in these things. My friends are caught in these conflicts and all of that. So, para sa akin, emotional itong mga issue na yan, no? Kaya nga, ako, ito yung sayang Dapat ganun po yung discussion natin, mga kameta. Dapat ganyan yung level of discussion sa foreign policy. Hindi yung, let's just be neutral. Let's be neutral. No! There are like 4 layers of analysis we have to go through. Kaya nga ang term ko is, the best thing we can do is calibrated neutrality. On this, we go here. On that, we go here. On this, we go here. And then we'll put this together. And then we need a synthesizer to be our foreign affairs secretary. And I'll be brutally honest, of all of these people being considered for foreign affairs, but none of them, I'm so sorry to say it, but none of them, I believe, have any relevant work or analysis of the situation. Forget about understanding other parts of the world, right? And ako, kasi I've spent a lot of time in different parts of the world, I've studied a lot of countries, I know these things almost by heart, alright? These things by heart. Hindi ko lang binasa yan kahapon or something like that, alright? So yon, so mga kameta, thank you very much for listening. I'm quite heartened to see you folks showing interest in this kind of discussion. Have you, napansin nyo, I barely discuss any of our politicians. I barely discuss any mga kachipan and katrashian sa atin. This is purely geopolitics. So I hope we can do more of this, guys, in the future, etc. And as soon as we have clarity on who will be the next foreign affairs secretary, it's possible career officer muna, and then let's see kung si Harry Roque next year, or someone else. Hindi na po na Clarita Carlos she wanted that position, so binigay National Security Advisor or something. But that's my point eh. We need really proper multi-level analysis of these issues. And don't worry, balikan ko yung issue ng West Philippine Sea dahil complicated din yung issue ng West Philippine Sea. There are many layers to it. You know, that's why I wrote books on these issues because you cannot explain it in one article. Patikim lang yun. You have to look at many aspects, the fishery competition, the oil and gas competition, the law of the sea aspect, the US-China competition. So yung mga nagsabi, ang West Philippine Sea po ay isang away lang sa pagitan ng Amerika at China. Wala silang alam, mga ignoramos mga yan. Alright? There is 4 or 5 dimension to this. So, to use a term, and just to be fair, I got it from Robert Kaplan, a journalist I respect very much. He traveled around the world. He knows what he's talking about. Ang term niya for that is, ito klasa, 3-dimensional chessboard. This is geopolitics. It's a 3-dimensional chessboard. It's not a 1-dimensional chessboard. I do this, you do that. Hindi, it's a 3-level, very complicated. Many moving parts. It's a Rubik's Cube. So you have to have very high level of understanding of domestic politics, of leaders, of regional balance of power, right? May isang term dyan alignment of forces. In Chinese, it's shi. The alignment of forces, you have to understand where it's going, and then you have to move forward with your foreign policy. Alright? To be honest, pag may budget tayo, gusto kong bilhin yung S400 na yung parang model na Stig nakita ko parang meron yata sa Shopee, meron ba? Yung sa Shopee kasi parang murahin yung nakita. Parang plastic lang pambata. Gusto ko yung very realistic ang pagkagawa Kasi the reason I have those models, airplanes and all of that is because when I write about defense and war, I look at those stuff and they help me feel the stakes. The stakes are really high. The stakes are essentially war and peace. Tolstoy, right? The stakes are extremely, extremely high. All right. So as I said, you cannot just say we're neutral. We technically have not been neutral. The best we can have is to avoid toxic neutrality or mindless neutrality, but instead have calibrated neutrality. And I'm happy to say that the Philippines is the only country in Southeast Asia who has consistently supported the bullied and victim party as far as the latest conflict is concerned. At the same time, I want to add, I hope the conflict will be resolved as soon as possible. And I hope comes a day whereby hindi lang US-China lang pag-usapan natin. We talk about middle powers all around the world. I want us to work more with Japan. I want us to work more with Australia, with Canada, with India, with other middle powers around the world, with Europe, with Britain, post-Brexit Britain. Sige na, Boris Johnson, sige na, isama ka namin. Sige na. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do. That's the future for us. Wag lang US-China, purong US-China lang. Nakakapagod yung dalawan. Bakit sila lang? Siya na, di ba? Dami pang pwede natin kausapin Ang tawag dyan, guys, dynamic equilateral balancing. Right? Dynamic equilateral balancing. Yan po ang gusto natin mangyari. Alright? So next meeting, don't worry guys, classroom. Pag-usapan natin concepts of bandwagoning, soft bandwagoning, hard bandwagoning, balancing, hard, soft balancing, etc., balance of power, those things. Of course, we're not going to do graduate class level, but just the basics. Para alam niyo naman yung pinagsasabi namin. At saka yung concept ng hedging, which essentially comes from the world of finance. Wall Street concept yan, yung hedging. How countries hedge their bets when it comes to dealing with different powers. So we have to have a very optimal hedging strategy. All right, calibrated Haydar in Turkey, etc. So many stuff we're gonna come out. So everything I'm discussing here, guys, nagsulat na po ako about that. And not just on some blog or whatever. I've written that, not to be abang, etc. For leading publications around the world. So these are properly analyzed stuff. Alright? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Salamat. I know it's a Saturday, but medyo na pa S400 tayo. Next time, dalhin ko yung ano ko eh. Actually, if you see behind me, there's an... Nakikita niyo ba yan? Ay, nasaan yan? Ayan, ayan. Ito. Nakikita niyo? There, you see an airplane there? That's an F-14. Okay? I have an F-14 Tomcat there. Alright? And then, I have an F-22 there. I have an F-35. I have an Su-57. Alright? Hindi ko nahanap yung iba eh. Medyo mahal kasi yung iba eh. Sa Green Hills ako bumibili. Sa Green Hills yan. Pero mahal yan ha. Mahal yan. Ito yung medyo realistic version talaga eh. Makikita mo talaga yung how the real one actually looks. Brilliant. It's very well done. Kung mahanap ko yung maayos na S400, S300, kukunin ko rin yan. Kasi guys, malungkot magsulat at mag-isip tungkol sa giyera. Malungkot siya trabaho. It's not a happy job. I'll be honest, this is not a happy job. It's not, I don't recommend it, to be honest. So to get into it, you have to really get into the zone, guys. And to have to feel the moment. The stakes are very high. And pwede mo sabihin, sino ka ba? Wala kang pake. But you know what? You'll be surprised. People who read you around the world. You can just check my followers on Twitter. These are pretty high-level people who are following me around the world. Because they read my stuff. You know? So they don't care kung sinong bata yan from Manila or QC nagsasalita. They don't think, they say, oh, this guy makes sense, etc. So, for me, I don't have any government position, etc. I'm not looking forward to having anyone soon because, you know. But I'm glad that our works, our ideas are influencing a lot of people in a good way around the world. Alright? Oops. Nahulog tong... Drama lang ako, nahulog na to eh. Alright, thank you very much guys. Ayan na, kumunti na yung mga trolls ko kasi seryoso na eh. Nung nagsimula na tayo sa S400 ganun, wala na yung mga trolls eh. Nag-start lang ako sa MiGs eh. MiG fighters and MiG Zubiri tuloy. MiG fighters and Sukhoi fighters. Wala na yung mga troll, nag-nosebleed na yata yung iba diyan eh. Dude, I'm telling you, dude, you wanna go? Let's talk Turkey. Literally, let's talk Turkey. Let's talk military. No problem. Let's go there. All right, let's go there. These are the things I've been discussing throughout my life. To be honest, naki-ride lang ako dito sa politics and all of that. But hey, I'm doing that also very seriously because a lot is at stake. All right? Sana nga eh. Shout out naman dyan daw kay Chona Ponko. Sorry, mahina yung mata ko ah. Kunyari Zadi, hindi Zadi. From London. Yan, mga friends natin dyan from London. Kamusta? Thank you very much kay Jokes Shell, Zipagan. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you guys appreciate this. Oh, ito, serious talaga to. This is the serious me. If I'm your teacher in class, this is how we do lectures. Alright? Wala nang mga kalokohan. This is how I do my classes. Alright? So, for anyone who's planning or who's gonna be a student at some point, this is what you're gonna get in class. Except, I'm gonna ask you for a lot of things more in requirements. Thank you very much sa mga friends natin dyan from Deutschland, si E.R. Borja. Thank you very much. Also, friends natin dyan from, ayan, ano? Ano sabi ni Nim? Alright. Ayos daw, sabi ng iba, yung mga friends natin dyan. Thank you very much dito sa mga friends natin sa kabila. May mga kapitbahay eh. Dito tayo sa kabila. Ayan. Ayan, thank you guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Uy, daming nag-star ha. Daming nag-support sa atin ha. I didn't expect that. I didn't think that you guys will enjoy an S400, S300 MiG submarine Sukhoi discussion, alright? But guys, kasi, you know, alam mong, okay, ito aminin ko ha. Ito. Nung nakita ko yung parang scale model ng F-16 fighter tapos PAF nakalagay dyan, Philippine Air Force, man, grab yung feeling ko like, wow, sana makuha natin yung ganito. Alam mo yung, what I really look forward to is to see Philippine Air Force having those nice airplanes. I'm telling you, man. Ako unang sa pila, bibili ako ng scale model na yan. And yung real one, mga kaibigan natin dyan sa AFP, please. Yun talagang nilook forward ko. A day that we once again have one of the best air forces in the region. Nang pag-iwanan tayo ng konti, just to be nice about in recent years, wag naman sana yung mga FA-15 lang mga trainer from Korea. Yung something serious, guys. Let's get at least an F-15 Eagle, yung new model nila na upgraded. Or Generation 4.5 Rafale fighter from France. Pero mukhang sub fighter ang kukunin natin from Sweden. Okay, whatever. Just for us to get there. But man, I'm telling you, Singapore, Thailand, they're already gonna get F-35 fighters. And F-35 fighters are becoming cheaper and cheaper. So, yun lang. Sana one day, kasi guys, nakikita mo yung may Philippine flag, tapos F-16 flag. Gwapo eh. The best talaga yun. Tapos one day, kung meron tayong mga F-35 fighters sa Philippines, wow, man. Yun ang mga gusto ko i-collect talaga eh. Kasi as much as I'm a fanboy in terms of like getting fighters from different countries, siyempre gusto ko makita yung Philippine Air Force. At come on guys, hindi naman tayo pobre, may budget tayo dyan. Basta walang corruption, matinong next D&D natin, makakuha natin guys dyan. And God bless kay Sir Lorenzana, kaibigan po natin dyan. Naglaying ni Secretary. Good job sir, si Kapay. Pero hopefully the next one, Defense Secretary. Well, hindi naging Sarah. Sorry na lang kayo. Hindi naging Sarah yung next Defense Secretary. Pero kung sino man, please get those F-15 fighters for Philippines. I want to see that, okay? And then, I want F-35 fighters. You know what I'm saying? Guys, alam ko, sasabihin nyo na dapat ang pera pumunta sa edukasyon, health, etc. Pero guys, ganito if you're weak, you're gonna be bullied. And if we are weak, we cannot protect our interests, we cannot protect yung ating karagatan, yung ating fishery resources. Bubuliin lang tayo ng ibang bansa. Nanakawin lang nila yung ating mga isda, yung mga oil and gas. But if we have a strong military, strong Navy, Air Force, papalag tayo sa kanila sa mga bully na yan. Di nila kayang bubulin tayo. Yun talagang gusto ko eh. Right? So sana one day, we will have, ito class take note, we will have minimum deterrence capability. Alright? Obviously, hindi natin matatapatan yung mga ibang bansa. Laki ng military and economy nila. But, we need to become what? Poison shrimp. Right? Kahit medyo maliit tayo, pag kinain tayo, pwede sila ma-poison. Right? So they don't mess with us. Or even better, medyo higher level, we become porcupine. Right? Di ba yung porcupine, pwede may spike siya. So kahit maliit siya, hindi mo pwede bully yung porcupine. Di ba? Kahit tigre, mahirapan siya. So we have to have that ability. Maliit tayo pero palaban. And hindi tayo maliit, guys. 108 million, 120 million na tayo soon, di ba? So, guys, sana naman, yung military natin, medyo angat natin. Back in the days, 50s, 60s, 70s, we had one of the best. And then, giyera sa Mindanao, corruption, etc. Sayang. But we can get there, guys. We can get there. And one of the ways is, medyo magagandang Air Force sana. Exciting. At masaya ako, meron na tayong BrahMos Supersonic. So, may first generation tayo. In 5 years, I hope we'll get BrahMos Hypersonic. Para Mach 5, Mach 6 to 7, 8, 9. Medyo high speed. Pag yan, medyo may lakas na tayo. So yan, laban lang guys, laban lang. Alam ko maraming frustrating sa ating bansa. Believe me, I know. I'm the last guy to have illusions about sa mga kalokohan sa ating bansa. But sana naman at least itong military maayos natin. Bibigyan natin ng mga tamang, para hindi tayo mukhang kawawa. At nakaka-proud guys kung meron kang matinong military. It gives you a sense of security. Like you don't mess with us. I mean, you go to Taiwan, Singapore, kalaban nila malalaking bansa, but because matinong military nila, palag sila. Sige, let's go. Sige, di ba? Ganon eh. Ganon. So, yun. Thank you very much sa mga friends natin joining us from all around the world. Friends natin from Philippine Air Force. Thank you dun sa invitation pala a few years ago. Looking forward to talking there soon again. Yung aking kaibigan from Australia is also visiting to give a talk there. Si Professor Juan. Alright, yan. Thank you very much, guys. Ayun, ba't nawala yung mga trolls? Grabe! Feeling ko yung mga troll, nagre-ready lang sila doon sa, may sasabihin siya, para may keyword. Oh, sabihin niya, sige, troll natin. Tapos, ano daw? S400? Ano daw? SU-57? Ano daw? Supersonic? Ano yun? Parang, alam mo yung, si Sonic na, yung, alam mo yung si Sonic? Yung gano'n na porcupine. Di ba yun yung Sonic? Gumaganon sila sa Sega yon. Walang ya. Hindi, hypersonic, supersonic. This is the Mach speed, which is relative to the speed of sound. Alright? Okay. Ayan na, tulog na daw yung mga Present daw naman si Azurich from Barangay Magdalo, Imos, Cavite. For real, Azurich talaga Barangay Magdalo talaga sa Imos. Wow, talagang Aguinaldo, talaga, Cavitismo. Cavite ka, di ba? May kanina kasi topic namin si Aguinaldo Conti, tuloy Cavitismo pumasok eh. Ayan, di daw nakarelate ang mga trolls, sabi ni Fiorante. Yan lang palang technique, guys, eh. Doon na tayo sa mga technical stuff. Wala na. Naghahang na yung mga system nila. Walang yan. Sige, gano'n na lang. Kung physicist lang sana ako, di ba? Ang pag-usapan natin, mga, ano na eh, mga event horizon, yung mga gano'n, di ba? Wala na. Wala na. Uwi na sila. Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog. Feeling ko, yung Super Sonic. Uy, yan, di ba si Sonic yun? Yung mga di ba may movie siya ngayon, di ba? Hindi yun! Super Sonic means faster than the speed of light. Walang yan itong mga to. Oh, ayan. Oh, John, may tanong ka kay Zelensky, Ukraine. Well, mukhang plano ng Russia, at least they'll consolidate their hold on Donetsk and Luhansk and some of the eastern regions bordering Russia. Mukhang yun ang fallback option nila. Kasi talo na sila dun sa full-scale invasion. Eh. And that's still a tragedy for Ukraine. There's an ongoing tragedy there. But at least mukhang Kiev and much of Ukraine is safe for now. Yeah. Yeah, Hedgehog Sonic. But yun nga, sana down the road, guys, will become like Hedgehog. Porcupine strategy yung tawag dyan. Paki-type yan, you'll see what I'm talking about. That's the national strategy of Taiwan, porcupine. Mas malaki ang China, pero kung sumugat kayo, bugbog kayo sa amphibious attack, wala. Yung ginawa ng Ukraine sa Russia, times 10 ang pwedeng gawin ng Taiwan. Not to mention, it's gonna be amphibious attacks, so even more difficult than the ground attack na ginawa ng Russia. Di pa nga tayo pumunta sa mga 5Cs eh, yung mga cross-domain, yung mga ganon, mga inter-domain coordination, communication, mga ganon, mas komplikadong terms. Next time na tayo dyan. But just to give you an idea about how we approach these issues. Thank you very much kay Grace Palmos for your star and support. O yung mga taga-YouTube dyan, wala ba kayong pang ano dyan? Pang 3-in-1. Ayan tayo. Thank you kay Vilma. Nagparinig talaga eh. Sorry guys, joke lang yan. Diba? Friends natin dyan. Ayan, mga ka-Sonic, ka-Meta. Mga friends natin dyan, thank you very much for star and support. Okay, marami pa rin interesado pala sa foreign policy. Alright, okay. Madaldal na tayo, 8:30 na, my goodness. Lampas sa isang oras pala tayo nag-uusap. Thank you also kay Selma for star and support. Thank you kay Mitch. Isa pa sa natin yan eh. Sabi ni Mitch, I love watching yung air show ng Singapore Air Force. Yeah. Yes. Hopefully, one day. Alright, we're gonna get there. Actually, when I say one day, it could be the next 3 years to 4 years. So it's not too far away. Alright? So, kaya yan. Ako, yun ang maging advocacy ko eh. Pataas ang budget ng edukasyon pero para pwede rin tumaas ang budget ng kasi di ba sa ating saligang batas parang hindi yata pwede mas mataas sa education or something. Meron tayong mga ganun eh. May mga provisions tayo dyan. So pataas natin pareho. Thank you also kay Josie for your support. Ayan. Sabi ni minsan lang sa bukas na lang kita mahalin na parang ganun yung pangalan mo sa YouTube. Sabi niya sa Philippines meron tayo balloon show. Di ba meron tayong balloon show sa Pampanga ba yan? Yung sa balloon. Oy, maganda yun, ha? Oy, wag kayong ganun. Ano ang bully kayo? Alam mo yun ang problema natin, mga Pinoy. Binubully natin sarili natin. We forget that in the 50s and 60s, tayong kinakaingitan ng mga kapitbahay natin. Ngayon, bumaliktad. But, sabi nga ni Erap, weather lang yan. Baka naman, sir. Baka naman. Diba? Baka naman, after 20 years, baka naman. Diba? Let's go there. I mean, finance, may free gates na tayo. Medyo nag-improve na. Thank you also kay Enelra for star and support. Thank you also kay Joy Robles. Yan. I'm telling you guys, foreign policy is super interesting. Geopolitics is so interesting. I'm telling you. You know why? Ang daming variables. Pero election natin, ano bang variables? Unity, ganito. Ito, ang daming variables. Ano yung latest marites sa Turkey? Anong latest military ng ganito? Ang daming variables, kaya it's exciting eh. Super exciting. At the same time, the stakes are very high. So ako in my own little capacity, I'm glad that I make sure that may boses tayo sa international conversations, right? When it comes to geopolitics. Na hindi lang mga taga-Singapore lang nagsasalita about ASEAN. I get invited around the world to talk on ASEAN. Not only Singapore people. And I'm happy happy to be able to talk about ASEAN, represent ASEAN, etc. And kind of put the Filipino voice in the conversation. So yun po yung ginagawa natin. Not many people grew up on BBC radio when they were 6, 7-year-old. Yun lang. Not knowing one day, I'll have 4 BBC interviews in a day or two. Dahil, ayan na, may election na tayo, ganito, ganyan. Okay, thank you very much guys. Balik ako sa trabaho. Why do I have another? May job na naman, may trabaho naman tayo. Bukas na tayo magpahinga kasi Sabbath day bukas. So guys, tomorrow is Sabbath day. So as you know the rule, on Sabbath day, I don't do any of this politics, etc. It's time for spiritual renewal. It's time for family. And it's time for some good walk and all. Alright? So thank you very much. Maraming salamat sa mga support din. Thank you kay Vilma, Alberto for support. Thank you to our friends from Australia, from Deutschland, from Inglaterra, from Espanya, friends natin from Austria, Österreichischen, friends natin from Mexico, friends natin from Cavite, yan. Friends natin dyan from Imos, Cavite, friends natin dyan from QC, from California, from Canada, from Europe, from Gitnang, Silangan, friends natin from Turkey. Parang actually hindi ko na nga nilagay. Yung pala Turkey and that was one of my main topics tonight that came out of nowhere. But kasi importante talaga yung Turkey, guys, please. Let's open our minds. Wag lang purong US, China. Let's think about the rest of the world. Palawakin natin yung horizons of imaginations natin, studies natin. Thank you to our friends, our Aussie friends, you know. Aussie friends kay Marilis Young, ayan. And oy. Happy Independence Day, guys! Whoa! Perfect yung topic natin, guys. The best. Perfect yung topic natin. So, this was, kumbaga, yes, Happy Independence Day, guys. Never give up sa Pilipinas. Marami pang magandang mangyayari. Marami rin naman magandang nangyayari. Pag-usapan natin more. The more we talk about the world, we can see what we can do to get our country in the right place. So please, go lang tayo. Kameta, tuloy-tuloy yung mga meta natin. Alright, tuloy-tuloy yung mga stars and support and subscription. And please, subscribe to my channel, alright, on YouTube. Richard Darian Vlog. Wala pa yung podcast ko. Wala pang title. Meta with Hey Darian. I don't know. Ayan na. I don't know. But please continue to support us. Subscription, etc. Alam mo, ubus na yung laway ko. Ilang oras na ako nagsasalita ngayon. 4 or 5 hours. So, please, alright, continue to support us para ganado pa rin tayo. Kahit pagod na pagod tayo. Alright, kahit second 3-in-1 ko na ito. Ayan tayo. I need to exercise later to burn out that sugar. Kasi maraming sugar yan. Unhealthy yan. Okay. Thank you very much. God bless. Maraming salamat. Happy Independence Day sa ating mga kababayan around the world. God bless. Thank you very much. Good night, guys. Mga kazadi! Happy Independence Day. Maraming salamat po.